On number 1, we can look at this graph in order to determine which of these years had the greatest change. Since they're all in a 1-year period, we're just looking for the biggest vertical change. So between 2003 and 4, that's really flat, so that's not going to be our answer. Between 2008 and 2009, that's relatively steep, that could be our answer. 2009 to 2010 is definitely less steep than that, so that's not our answer. And between 2010 and 2011, those two, without plugging in numbers or really taking a careful look at the slope, it could be difficult to tell between them, but now you're at least down to only 2 answers. In this case, that last one is the steepest. On number 3, even though this involves some unit conversions, we can eliminate some answers right off the bat. So we can calculate that 2.5 ounces of chocolate per muffin times 48 muffins is 120 ounces. Since 1 ounce does not equal 1 pound, D cannot be our answer. We also know that somehow we're going to have to convert 120 and we're going to have to use the number 16. So in this case, we're going to have something that is less than 12. So C cannot be our answer either. On number 5, there are 2 distractor answers that we can eliminate right away. So this is asking for the difference of the object's weight on Jupiter than on Venus. But based on the fact that it's 100 pounds on Earth, we know that on Venus it'll be 90 pounds, and on Jupiter it is 230 pounds. So those are going to be your distractor answers, which means you can eliminate them right away. On number 7, we can eliminate 2 answer choices right away because by reading this, we know that we want to increase membership by N businesses per year. So that is a constant rate. That means that it's going to be a linear equation, not exponential. So we also then have to determine the intercept, which you can also get from reading fairly quickly because there were B businesses at the beginning of this first year. Since businesses are a positive number, not a negative number, our answer is A. On number 10, we can eliminate 2 equations right away because we have this word dividing. So we know that our answer for mass is going to be dividing something. So we can get rid of anything that is a plus. In this case, we also know that if D equals M over V, then when we solve for mass, we're not going to be left with a fraction because we're just moving this over. So in this case, because these ones are too similar, A is our answer. On number 15, we can eliminate some answer choices based on some very close reading of the actual question. So the question asks, which of the following statements must be true? This is one of those words that we want to watch out for. Must, always, never. Those words are very concrete. But because this is a survey, those 1,000 people might not have been representative of the entire population. So even though 78% were satisfied with the quality of air, that doesn't necessarily mean that out of all of them in the city that it's still going to be 78%. So 1 is definitely not in our answer choices. So we can eliminate C and D. Now we're left with picking between A or B, so none of them, or 2. So we don't even have to look at 3. So let's look at 2. If another 1,000 adults were selected at random, 78% of them report they are satisfied. Again, that would have to assume that they were representative, so not necessarily. It doesn't have to be true, so not 2. So our answer is A. On number 20, by looking at these 2 graphs and then reading the question, we can eliminate 2 answers right off the bat. So it's asking for this graph here, y equals d of t. It's asking which of the following could it represent from when the wheel begins to roll. Now, some things along here, there's a point here, and then it's rolling on the ground at a constant rate on a level straight path. So what that means is that our speed is constant. So my speed is not going up and down with time, so it's not A. Also, if my speed is constant, it means that, for example, in 1 second, I'm going to travel the same distance every time. So my distance should be a graph that looks like this. So it's not B. Now we're left with just C and D. In this case, the distance of the mark on the rim from the center of the wheel, since it's a mark on the tire, it doesn't change distance. It's going to be a constant. So C is not our answer either, so we're left with D. Okay. For number 21, we can actually eliminate answer choices just by doing some simple elimination. So if A is negative and B is positive, that means in the top I have a negative minus a positive, so the top is negative, and the bottom is also negative. In this case, a fraction where a negative divided by a negative is going to come out to be positive. So in this case, C cannot equal -1, nor can it be less than -1. Now we're just looking at if C equals 1. Because A is negative and B is positive, they do not equal each other, and so this number cannot equal this number, so that ratio cannot equal 1, so A must be our answer. On number 25, we can eliminate 2 answer choices right away just based on the last sentence of the question. So if more than 20% of all participants chose the first picture in the set, all right, so that's saying 20% of the total participants, which was 300. So 20% of 300 is written as 0.20 times 300, not minus 36 or plus 36. So those cannot be our choices. Now we're just left to actually read more of the question to pick between C or D. In this case, P is the number of participants in the second half that chose the first picture, and 36 were in the first half. So they're added together to get the total, so D must be our answer.